Hey guys, I want to talk to you today about something that's going to be pretty controversial, and that's trapping nuisance wildlife in the bee yard and how to deal with it. A lot of times we have issues with raccoons, possums, and skunks. The raccoons, they'll come in, they'll try to eat your pollen supplement you got on the colony, or they'll try to drink your sugar syrup you feed in the colony, and they'll tear your lids off your colony. And it's not a big deal if you can check them every day, but we can't check our bees every day. And if you get a cold rain with that top knot on it, we don't run inner covers at all, and that cold rain will kill that colony pretty quick, and they'll be toast, and you'll lose it all due to a raccoon or a possum trying to get into your colony. So today we're going to bring you along, and we know it's controversial. A lot of people love wildlife, and we love wildlife, and we believe in conserving wildlife for the future generations, but unfortunately we have to take care of our bees also, and sometimes we have to trap animals to get them away from our bee yards and our out yards. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to show you how we get it done. Stay tuned. Hey guys, one thing I want to mention to you before you engage in these trapping activities or dealing with nuisance wildlife is always check your state laws and your local regulations on it. You may have to have a trapping license, you may have to have a depredation permit issued to you by wildlife, and always follow your local laws and regulations. Here we only have to have a trapping license or a depredation permit. You can get either one, but we find it easier just to go about and get our trapping license every year. One of the traps we like to use is called a dog-proof trap, and we really like it because it keeps non-target species out of it. A dog can't get in your trap, and a cat can't get in your trap, but a raccoon can, because the way its paws are, he can reach down and pull the trigger up. This is a dog-proof trap. We use cage traps also. We connect it with what's called an earth anchor. You can get it at a trap supply store, and we've got numerous swivels on it so the caught animal can rotate freely, and it doesn't bind up to where it causes the animal any undue stress. Guys, what he's doing here, he's driving an earth anchor into the ground, and what that earth anchor will do, when you pull up on it, it'll lock that anchor into the ground, and it'll secure your trap into the earth so the target animal can't pull it away or escape and carry off your trap. Hey, so what we're doing with this trap, we're baiting it with some cat food, and we've also got some fish oil that we're going to spread out, and we'll show you how we do that. But the cat food's real simple. You just drop it in. You can use about anything in these traps. We like cat food because it's easy to carry, and you don't have to worry about the smell of tuna and all that on your hands all day. Tuna works, marshmallows work, especially in conjunction with the fish oil. It really helps a lot. So, but we just like cat food. And once we get the trap filled, we're going to push it into the earth. It's got a stake on the bottom, just like so. And this trap's set. And what we're going to do, our fish oil, we just put it in a bottle to make it a squirt bottle. We're going to put just a little bit around that trap to entice it. The smell's what really carries. We're along a creek right here, so raccoons generally travel creeks and they have to have water, so we're going to use that as our water source. And we will set traps a good distance away from our bee yard because we don't want to attract any more wildlife to the bee yard than we have to get the job done. And we'll get these. We'll put a few out in the yard, but we want to mainly get them on the outskirts of the yard instead of drawing them back in. We'll take this and we'll just get a little fish oil that way. We'll get some going that way, some going this way across the trail. And what that'll do is that'll bring that raccoon hopefully into our trap and entice him by the cat food and the fish oil. So hopefully we'll trap him. Like I mentioned, we like to use these dog-proof traps. It's called a DP trap, coon cuffs, different names. They run anywhere between $12 and $15 depending on where you buy them. You do want to paint them or protect them from the weather. What we do is we dye them in a trap dye, and then we wax them with a trap wax, and it protects them from the weather really good. These are designed to hold the animal. It doesn't hurt the animal in any way, but keep in mind that it does clamp down on the animal's paw or hand where they can't get it away. So if that's an issue for you, you may want to consider a different type of trap. But we like these because we don't have to worry about non-target species. It's only going to catch raccoons and possums and such. So we really like these. The inside of it's designed where you can fill it with your bait of choice. We like cat food. We've used marshmallows, honey buns, anything like that will work. Inside is the trigger, and it can only be pulled in the upward direction, which helps prevent the non-target catches. We do have them on a chain, and we also put swivels on them to our cable, and what that does is it makes it a little more comfortable for the animal. As you can see, it can swivel around, and it's not trapped in one general location all night. And you will want to check these traps every day. You don't want to leave your trap set out. In North Carolina law, where we live, you have to check your trap every 24 hours. So it's just a good thing to do. You don't want to leave an animal out there. Another trap a lot of people will more than likely use is a live trap. And we like these, but you can catch people's cats and things like that in them. And so we don't use this quite as much, but they work just as well. And we'll show you how to set one in case that's what you're wanting to use. And it just opens up like this. And it's got a trigger in the bottom. The animal can go inside. It hits the pan, and the trap closes, and it's contained inside. So just wanted to give you a more detailed idea of what traps we use and what traps are available. And by no means are these the only traps that are available. There's numerous others that you can use, but these are what we like to use to keep nuisance animals out of our bee yards. Now what he's doing, he's just putting the cat food into the trap, like we showed you in the other one and discussed. And then we'll go back through and we'll put the fish oil out and kind of, I'll show you where we're at and what the location looks like and kind of what you want to look for whenever he's done putting this cat food in there and getting it baited. And the locations I was telling you about, you want it areas that's frequented by wild game like raccoons, deer, and possums. You want to use these small game trails to kind of place your traps on, because it's hard to lure an animal somewhere he don't want to go. But when they're already traveling, that scent's enticing to them, and they'll come check out your trap if it's in a place that they're already frequented. Like this game trail here, we know it's a game trail and it's used by deer, foxes, raccoons, and everything else. So that's a good place, and we've got our trap set just over to the side of that game trail. We don't want him to have to go far, and we've got that fish oil on it, and so if he comes in 3 different directions, he's going to get a whiff of that fish oil and hopefully bring him into our trap. This trap location is a place we chose because it's got 2 game trails coming into one point. If you can see right here, there's another small game trail being used along with that larger game trail, and it goes up into where our bees are at. And we chose to put the trap right there at the apex of that game trail. And when you do that with that fish oil and the cat food, you normally have pretty good success. So we just kind of want to show how we place them and where we place them. Every location is going to be different. It's something you're going to have to play around with to get used to. And trapping takes some skill and some knowledge, but anybody can do it. So just keep that in mind. It's easier to bring an animal to where it's already wanting to go. Behind us is another creek. So that's 2 separate creeks on this property, and we're going to trap both of them to try to alleviate the problems in this particular yard with raccoons lifting our lids off. Guys, on this area, I just wanted to kind of show you our bee yard. I know you've seen it in the videos, but a lot of it's not shown in our videos because it's at the very bottom. And it's an old field, and we get a lot of wildlife coming through the area, which we don't mind, we actually enjoy, but our bees are at the top, but our bees come first, and if we have to trap a raccoon or a possum and deal with him and relocate him or whatever we have to do to protect our bees, that's what we're going to do. And he's just baiting that trap with that cat food like we said before. You don't want to put it up over the trigger too much because then they can just get a free meal sometimes, and we're trying to catch them, not just feed them. And what they're doing, they're just driving that earth anchor into the ground. We're at the other corner of this field at the bottom, with the creek about 20 yards away from us. Boy, don't hit your finger. And he's going to drive that into the quick link we have set onto the trap that's hooked to the swivel all the way into the ground. And then on these earth anchors, you want to give them a quick pull up to set that anchor into the ground. And he's just baiting that trap with that cat food, like we said before. You don't want to put it up over the trigger too much, because then they can just get a free meal sometimes, and we're trying to catch them, not just feed them. Like I said, we're not going to be using these live traps. It's not our preferred trap, but we understand you may have to use that trap in your location. So wanted to show you how we're going to set it. And what we're going to do, we found a game trail that we like, so we're going to set this trap back in onto the game trail just like so. Get it as stable as possible. And we're going to lift the front door open. And on this side, it's got a little toggle trigger that's attached to a pan that's going to trip the trap. So we're going to do that. We're going to set it. And behind the pan, you would want to put your preferred bait, and I recommend wiring it into a container inside the trap so they can't just move the trap to get the bait out. We're also going to cover this trap up with any kind of vegetation that's in the area and conceal it as best we can, and make the inside of the trap as dark as possible. It's more enticing for an animal to go into a dark enclosure than it is a wire enclosure. So just wanted to show you how you want to go about setting this trap, if it was your trap of choice or what you legally had to use in your area. Hey guys, so I understand that this is a controversial topic and it's not going to be something everybody chooses to do. As a business, we decided to do it because we don't like losing bees in the cold rain to nuisance wildlife like raccoons and possums. We're by no means telling you to go out and trap anything or that you have to do this because you don't. We just choose to do it because our bees are important to us, and I'm sure your bees are important as well, and this may be something that you decide that you need to do. We've lost bees to nuisance wildlife, and thank God we don't have bears in our area yet. They're slowly moving into us, but we don't have them yet. But this is an ethical responsibility, and you have to be careful when you're trapping animals, and you have to be mindful and, you know, treat those animals with respect, even though it's a nuisance critter you're trying to get rid of. We don't generally kill our animals, but in some states you do have to dispatch any animal caught in a trap, but we don't here, and a lot of times we choose to just relocate that animal. And sometimes you'll trap an animal and release him, and they'll learn from it and they won't come back to that location for a while, and it may get you through a whole season. But keep that in mind, and if we do indeed catch one of these critters that's out here causing us a problem, we're going to bring you along and show you that we're not harming the animal in any way, and that it's turned loose and it's released and it goes on its merry way. So we just wanted to show you that, and that'll be in the next segment of the video.